Safe to say, there are only two safe players on the Patriots roster. It's Drake May, your quarterback, and your second team All-Pro CB and Christian Gonzalez. These guys, they're not going anywhere. If they are, we really need to look at the front office. Everybody else, I think you're kind of up for grabs. Whether it's in free agency, a trade, a cut, a waive, everybody else still has something to prove, in my opinion, including some former starters that may have run out of time in New England. So let me ask you guys this question before I hop into the latest rumors on today's show. Who should the Patriots keep? If you guys think Hunter Henry should stick around, if you think Austin Hooper, maybe Jonathan Jones, Kyle Duggar, if you guys are glad those players are still here or you want them to stick around, go on ahead. Let me know in the comment section down below. The question today is, should New England get rid of Rhamondre Stevenson? Whether that's a cut pre-June 1st, post-June 1st, whether that's a trade, or they just waive him altogether, has Rhamondre Stevenson literally run his way out of New England? Well, here's what you guys should know about the starting running back. He most recently, this past offseason, signed a 4-year, $36 million extension. So obviously the front office saw the opportunity and saw what he could do over the course of the next 4 years. But then he was demoted from that starting position this last season for the fumbling issues that he had throughout the year, but specifically in October. And then Gerard Mayo and Alex Van Pelt, they just said, you know what? Screw it. We're starting Antonio Gibson for the last 2 games of 2024, which I thought was well overdue. I thought Gibson, who is a very different back than Rhamondre Stevenson, you're kind of getting a bruising back, and then you're getting that fast, sonic acceleration type of back. Gibson proved to be that spark that we needed. Not to mention, Antonio Gibson has also led the NFL in yards after contact as a second-string running back. Rhamondre Stevenson, he was 17th in the NFL, so it's not bad. But still, what can you do after you get the handoff? I know your offensive line sucked, but Rhamondre didn't really help himself. And then when you look at what the contract breakdown really looks like, here is what New England actually could do and what makes the most sense about possibly parting ways with their starting back. If you do cut him pre-6/1, which is June 1st, you're eating a whole bunch of money. Obviously, you're taking a dead cap hit of $5.5 million. If you cut him after June 1st, you're still going to eat a little bit of money, but it's not going to be as bad with negative $2 million. If you trade him, you save about $4 million, because that is now what the new team will owe in 2025 and 2026. Your new team will owe $6 million. So there are ways to work around this and his contract without just completely shooting yourselves in the foot. But there is a little bit of truth for Rhamondre Stevenson's last 2 years where he hasn't outshined his own backup. That's never a good sign. You're not seeing that with Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, James Conner. But with Rhamondre, it seems to be a pattern. Zeke Elliott, way past his prime, feed me Zeke, had more carries, more yards, and nearly as many touchdowns as Rhamondre Stevenson did in 2023, and that was with a crappy quarterback and a crappy offensive line. Well, you got a better quarterback, and your offensive line still sucked. And Gibson, not necessarily in terms of the stat sheet, outran and outplayed Rhamondre, but you could tell there was a different feeling on the field when Antonio Gibson was there. And still, that's a heck of a lot of yards and averages for a guy that had almost less than 100 carries than Rhamondre Stevenson did. And the number one number you're going to look at here is the fumbles. 6 fumbles led the NFL for running backs this season. That's unacceptable. Stevenson can only do so much as his offensive line will allow. Reason why Saquon Barkley, besides having just a great talent naturally, reason why he was so successful this year is because Philadelphia Eagles had one of the best offensive lines. That has been known. But with Rhamondre Stevenson not even taking as much advantage of the yards after contact as he possibly could have, if you don't have a run game in New England, Drake May is not going to be able to flourish the way that he's supposed to, because defenses are going to easily catch on that we are going to throw the ball 9 times out of 10. You have got to have as good of a run game as a passing game to be an efficient offense. But we'll have to wait and see. Should the Patriots move on from Stevenson? Type M for move on, type K for keep. Let me know what you guys think, whether that's cut, trade, anything. They're just literally done with Rhamondre Stevenson. Or if you think he should still have time to prove himself, put your K's in the comment section. If you guys did type M for move on, I'm going to break down 3 running back free agents that could possibly give the Patriots offense a little bit of a boost that they have been desperately needing. But before that, I want to make sure you guys have the hottest deal around. Chatsports.com/PatriotsT. We are partnering with Fanatics to give you guys this great deal on this performance t-shirt in navy. Look, I know it may be cold in New England right now, but that warm weather is going to start to creep up on you. And you guys can wear this out to Fenway. You can wear this to TD Garden. You can wear this to tailgates outside Gillette Stadium and even inside Gillette Stadium as the Patriots football games do kick off later this year. Right now, it is $20.99. It was originally $40. You're getting 50% off. So if you guys want to go on ahead, take advantage of this sweet deal, go to chatsports.com/PatriotsT. Now look, New England could either sign a running back in free agency, which is what they did with Antonio Gibson last year, or they can draft a running back. But you have to take that with a grain of salt because there's a lot of other areas that actually need to be fixed right now in the draft. Running back doesn't need to be fixed. You just kind of want an improvement there, whether that's from the players you already have or outside players. I don't think you should draft a running back, especially not in the first 3 rounds, but assigning a free agent, absolutely. Especially when you got JK Dobbins on the market, the running back for the Chargers. He was dealing with a little bit of an injury last year, but when he came back, I mean, the guy was unstoppable. And what he was able to do blows anything Stevenson or Gibson could have done this last year out of the water. 195 carries, 905 yards, averaged about the same as Antonio Gibson, and 9 more tutties. And he did it in less games than Stevenson and Gibson did. When you're getting a guy like JK Dobbins, you're going to still have that veteran presence to help out with Drake May, a guy that is used to crappier offensive line. He's not as bad as the Patriots, but he's very shifty. He knows how to read the holes, read the gaps, find what's going to work for this new system, especially with a guy like Josh McDaniels coming in. I think J.K. Dobbins would be a great addition with Drake May. If not him, we're going to go to Pittsburgh with Najee Harris. You guys know him probably because he's on your fantasy team, but Harris was unstoppable this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 263 carries. So obviously this offense relied a little bit more on the run game than the Chargers or even the Patriots. 1,000 yards on the ground. It has been years since I have seen an 1,000-yard player in New England. Average about 4 yards per game and 6 touchdowns. Najee Harris is just going to be a playmaker. He's a guy you want in the backfield. He also has that dual threat where he can catch some balls here in the backfield and possibly shake some things up, which is not something you could do with Stevenson as much as you wanted to. Per the fumbles, it also related a little bit more to receptions as well, too. I think Najee Harris probably wouldn't take him over J.K. Dobbins, but overall, I do not think this would be a bad idea. And ignore my spelling here. Should Pata, I don't know who that is. Should Pat sign or draft a running back? That's me. My bad. Should Pat sign or draft a running back? Type S for sign, type D for draft. Let me know in the comment section down below. Shout out to Smitty, fixing my mistakes here as always. Type S for sign, type D for draft. I'm going to go S for sign, especially if you can get James Conner. You should be familiar with him because he ran all over us in the regular season with no remorse. He even scored 2 touchdowns against us. Wasn't that hard, I believe, because Gerard Mayo was back there playing cards on the plane ride on the way back from this game. 236 carries, 1,094 yards, averaging about the same as Dobbins, the same as Gibson, but 8 touchdowns to help the Cardinals throughout the season. James Conner is just an explosive back. And because we have $130 million in cap space, James Conner could actually sign a pretty good deal to land him in New England, not just for 2025, but hopefully for this foreseeable future. If he's looking for a new home, he's already paired up with Kyler Murray, who's a very mobile quarterback. Drake May also showing some of that mobility in his first year, despite the offensive line being so bad. Conner and Drake May would be a lethal running back quarterback duo. And then if you add on a top wide receiver like maybe a Deebo Samuel or a DeAndre Hopkins, and I say top because that would be the top in New England, that would boost our offense pretty big, I will say. But if you guys are on the side of drafting a running back, here are Mel Kiper's top 5 running backs the Patriots could possibly take a look at, or maybe even interview these guys as we get closer to the draft. The reason why I don't think Ashton Jeanty is an option for us is because he's a first-round guy, and we have the 4th overall pick. That's way too high for a running back, especially when we need to fix a lot of areas. So I think Jeanty will be gone. Hampton could be a second-round guy. Dylan Sampson, LaQuint Allen, and Quinshon Judkins, I do think would also be a good option. But once again, Patriots have a lot of areas to fill. I wouldn't waste a draft pick on a running back. My final question for you guys, if they do decide to draft, which running back should the Patriots draft? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, if you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. Join over 22,000 loyal Patriots fans right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports.